Good morning, guys. So, yesterday we talked about sexual and asexual reproduction. And from your exit ticket, it shows me that you remember what asexual and sexual reproduction are. Now, we are going to jump into genetics, right? And there are some words that we are going to be using that you need to know. Okay, so I've folded my paper in half. Okay, and I will be doing some notes on one side and some notes on the other side. So starting off with just our title for today, and that is going to be on one side, genetics. Okay, genetics. Oh, there we go. Genetics. And we're going to use 4 words that are really important for today's class. The first word is inherited traits. Inherited traits. And that means, or these are, characteristics these are characteristics passed from parent to offspring. So the offspring is born with it. Example, eye color. Okay, inherited traits are passed from our parents to the offspring. In this case, we could talk about it as eye color. Now, acquired traits are characteristics that develop during your lifetime. So you are not born with them. So an example would be a scar. Okay, I had a surgery. I wasn't born with a scar. I developed that scar, and that's because cells, were trying to patch off that hole done in the surgery. The third word is learned behaviors. Learned behaviors. And that is a skill that someone develops or learns during their lifetime. And an example for this one would be learning how to ride a bike. Okay, so I wasn't born riding a bike or knowing how to ride a bike. I learned, right, through practice and practice. It's something I learned, right? It's not something I was born or inherited by my parents. And then finally, instinct. Oh, and by the way, guys, I do not know how to ride a bike, so I still haven't learned that behavior. Our last one is instinct. So that is an inherited behavior or set of behaviors an organism is born knowing how to do. Okay, example would be birds migrating. No one taught them how to migrate. They just knew. It's an instinct. They knew they had to do that. Now, today, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be comparing or identifying inherited traits and learned behaviors. And first, we're going to do a set of notes, and then for your independent practice, you're going to do something I thought was kind of cute and fun. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my other side of the paper, but I'm going to turn it like this, because I'm going to need the half, or both halves, one for learned and one for inherited behaviors. Okay. So I've got my half right here, and I'm going to title it off. So on this side, we are going to have learned behavior, and on my other side right here, I'm going to have my inherited traits. Okay, and so that we remember what they are in our notes, so a learned behavior is a behavior an organism an organism learned during their lifetime. Okay, and our inherited traits, okay, I'm going to move it this way. Our inherited traits are going to be characteristics passed from parent to offspring. All right. Now, I'm going to start off with our learned behaviors. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, we're going to focus on learned behaviors. So, again, we're not born with this. We learn how to do these things. Examples of this, I mean, we were not born knowing how to walk. We learned how to walk. So walking, talking, crying, writing, riding a bike, cooking. We learned how to read, play soccer. We learned how to speak a language. We learned how to eat with a fork. And this is what we learned, this is what we learned how to do. Now, animals, right, they learn how to hunt prey. They learn how to fly. They learn how to crack seeds or nuts. Okay, a parrot learning how to say hello. Okay, a parrot learning how to say hello. And with that, my godmother, she had a parrot. And it apparently learned how to talk. And the parrot, I don't even know what the name was, but it knew how to say my godmother's name. And every morning, like clockwork, the bird would start yelling, "Polly, Polly, Polly," and then say other words. And then my godmother had to go out and feed the parrot because it was kind of saying like, "Hey, it's morning and I am hungry." It didn't know how to say Polly. It learned how to say her name. So again, all of these things, and I mean, there's lists and lists of different things that we learn. We were not born doing. Okay, so let's make that really, really clear. Learned behaviors, we learned them. We were not born doing these behaviors. And now for our inherited traits. So these are characteristics passed on from a parent to the offspring. So in humans, we could possibly have, and I mean, there's many, the color of hair. My mom has a light brown hair. My dad has a really dark black hair, and I inherited, my dad's side, which is a dark color. I do dye my hair. That's why you see it lighter. The color of my eyes. So on my mom's side, most of all of my uncles except two have green hazel colored eyes. My grandpa had beautiful, green towards blue eyes. And then he inherits, or he passes on to my mom, that trait, but she does not express it. My grandma's eye color, which is brown or dark brown, was stronger than the colored eye. So she takes in or inherited the trait of dark colors. Well, because in my mom's DNA, there was still that 0.5%, right, that was coming from her dad, which was light colored eyes. My nephew, the one that's going to turn 1, he has like light brown, gray, green, like it just changes color, but he has beautiful eyes. I wish I would have gotten those eyes, but again, that was inherited. He did not acquire it, or he didn't learn how to have green eyes. Guys, whether we like it or not, our height or how tall we are going to be, we inherit that from our parents. And they inherited that from their parents, and so on and so forth. Our facial features. Okay. My dad's side of the family, everyone has freckles. And guess what? I got freckles. I got my dad's nose, or my dad's family's nose. But I got my mom's eyes, right? So all of our facial features are something that we're getting or inheriting from our parents, and they inherited that from their parents. Now, if we talk about animals, and I'm going to do a little line here. The beak shape of a bird is inherited. The shape of their teeth, sharks need pointy teeth, right? And hippos might not need that pointy of teeth, but they do need big, big teeth. So depending on the size, the shape, it is getting inherited from their parents. Fur, shape, skin color, in plants, the shape of leaves, feather color, and there's more inherited traits that we can be talking about. So, you have your exit ticket, and it's a 1-question exit ticket where you're going to identify whether the description I'm giving you is either a learned behavior, inherited trait, is it an acquired trait, or is it an instinct? Now remember that I'm focusing on these two. I'm focusing more on inherited and learned, right? And with that being said, your independent practice, and it is a project, right? It's called Monster Lab. And what you are going to be doing, so in your assignments at 10:30, your Monster Lab is going to open for you. Now, for the Monster Lab, what you're going to do is the following. So I'm going to guide you through what you are going to be doing. Okay, so when you go into my general page for my class, you are going to be getting, Thursday, April 23rd. And yes, it has little monsters, and we're learning about inherited traits and learned behaviors. So you do your notes on your notebook. Your assignment is the Monster Lab independent practice. And of course, you have your exit ticket. Now, Your Monster Lab independent practice, that one is due tomorrow around 5 p.m. And your exit ticket is due today. So I would go first and do my exit ticket, and then I would do my Monster Lab. But like every time an assignment posts, you're going to get these notifications. So yesterday, exit ticket 422 posted, and you got a notification. Now, if for whatever reason you don't get a notification, you can go to the top of my channel, right? And you're going to go to assignments. Now, under assignments, and it says scheduled because I still have to release it to you, you're going to have exit ticket, and you're going to have your Monster Lab. So for your Monster Lab, you're going to click it, and it automatically says this, Monster Lab, learned and inherited traits. Draw a parent, monster, and offspring. Label 3 physical traits the offspring inherited from the parent. You will upload this drawing into the link provided. And what I mean by link provided is this one right here, Monster Lab link. Describe 2 behaviors the offspring learned from the parent. And then you're going to write a complete paragraph describing their traits and behaviors. So again, you're going to complete these 2 sections on the link provided. So if I click the link, it's going to send me to a different page. Some of you are going to have to log into Microsoft Forms. Make sure you are using your email that was given to you by IDEA. Now, those instructions, again, are here. So you're going to draw a parent, monster, and offspring. Label 3 physical traits the offspring inherited from the parent, and upload the picture below. So here you have an upload file button. Now, if I go, yesterday I looked this up, I wanted to know whose parents, right? I think this is solely, who they were. So I could just draw him and mom or him and dad, right? You just need to draw one parent. And you also have to label what were the, let me check real quick. Label 3 physical traits the offspring inherited from the parent. So the example would be, well, he inherited the fur color from mom, the spots from the mom. I'm not saying spot color, just the spots. And the claws on the feet and hands. Now, if I focus on dad, right, he inherited from, and he also inherited the eye color from mom. Now, if I go to dad, he inherited the horns, eyebrows, the nose, his smile, how tall he is, how big he is. He inherited the tail because mom doesn't have a tail, but dad does have a tail. Right? So he got traits from mom and he got traits from dad. So I would label all this all over my picture. And then I would, where is it? Here it is. I would submit here. So how do you upload it? You're going to click upload file. Mine is on my desktop. So it's right here. I'm going to click the picture, open. Right, and of course, this is going to be a picture that you took with your phone or with your computer, and it's going to stay there. That's it. That's what you're doing for part 1. 2, describe 2 behaviors the offspring learned from the parent. Well, in Monsters, Inc., he is one of the monsters that is the scariest, so he might have learned that from dad. So I would, type in because he learned it. Solely learned. So solely learned how to scare children from his dad. That's one. He learned how to, dad taught him or mom taught him how to walk. So mom taught solely how to walk, right? And I'm asking for at least 2 sentences, one for each trait or learned characteristic. Write a complete paragraph describing the traits and behaviors. So now I would go more into detail. So what we talked about, solely inheriting fur color, spots, claws, eyes, eye color, from mom, I would actually type all of this down. So solely inherited, claws from the mother, and detail. And I am asking for 5 to 8 sentences. So I'm going to be looking for at least 5 sentences. And when you're done with all of this, so you make sure you've uploaded your picture, you've, filled out these 2 sections, you are going to click submit. Now, your response was submitted. You do not need to submit another response. That's it. So you close off your window and you would be back to this one, right? So it will give you a submit or turn in, and you're going to click turn in once you have already made sure that your link was at 100%. Now, what I do when I get, the assignment, so I'm just going to put update, is that I go to forms and I'm going to have my Monster Lab. And you see it says already 1 response because I submitted a response. So it says I uploaded a file. So I'm checking, who submitted their assignment. So here it will give me, I press view results and it says Evelyn Camacho, 4 minutes. I even get the time it took you to do it. I click this link, that should open up to the picture that I uploaded, and it should include the information that you typed in. So once that is done, I don't do anything. I go to PowerSchool and I plug in your grade. Now, as you can see, I have still 9 students that have not submitted their homework, right? I've got, not their homework, their test. I have 12 students that haven't done yesterday's exit ticket. So I am taking these for a grade, guys. They're not just there, to give you more work. They're there because it does matter. This is the same or even a little bit or less work that I would have given you in class. So I do expect you to continue providing quality work, right? It is unacceptable that, I have to be chasing you around for your grades. Some of you that had not done IXL, remember it's due today at 5 p.m. After that, your grade is staying as a 0. I'm not going to go in and change it. If you received a message from me, it's because it's critical that you get to work on what you need to do. So please get that done as soon as possible. Do not procrastinate. Do not leave it to the end. And then you're running around because you cannot get the work done. For everyone else, guys, have a great afternoon. Hopefully I can go live tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be having a grade team celebration on my class. So I am going to go live then. I'm going to have a live going on, and we are going to be having a grade team celebration. So it is expected from all of you to be on my channel, on my live grade team celebration at no later than 10:10. Okay, it's only going to last 5 minutes, and then I'm going to start with my lesson for Friday. Have a great afternoon, guys. I will see you tomorrow.